made the Serpent Mound the largest snake geoglyph in the world? And this is, of course, a part of American archaeology. In the eastern United States, nestled amidst the trees alongside a tributary of the Great Ohio River, is one of the most extraordinary and mysterious formations ever created by man. The Great Serpent Mound, although never more than 3 foot high, runs for 1,350 feet, that's 411 meters, through the landscape. This prehistoric effigy is the largest serpent effigy in the world, but it's almost entirely mysterious. The first record of this monument comes from surveys conducted in the 19th century by Ephraim Squire and Edwin Davis. They reported it in their historic book, Ancient Monuments of the Mississippi Valley, published in 1848. So much for modern Western rediscovery, but what is it and what was it used for? And who marshaled the extraordinary manpower required to build it? The size of it? In point of fact, the entire structure is even larger, split into 3 parts. The serpent shape extends 1,375 feet along its full length. The general width of the mound tends to be around 20 to 25 feet. The mound itself conforms to the curve of the landscape on which it has been made. The head of the serpent approaches a cliff above a stream, with a body behind it, winding back and forth with 7 coils. The tail ends in a triple coil. The mound itself was constructed mostly from a layer of yellowish clay and ash that has been reinforced with a layer of rocks before being covered in soil. The head of the snake also looks like it's trying to consume an egg-shaped mound that is approximately 121 feet long. There has been some debate between scholars whether this shape is an egg, a sun, or the remains of some kind of focal ceremonial platform. Interestingly, there are similar serpent effigies found elsewhere in the world, including Scotland and Canada, and given its low vertical profile compared to its other dimensions, this serpent falls into the category of objects like the Nazca lines of Peru, would be best suited for viewing from the air in an era where that was seemingly impossible. They didn't have airplanes. The origins of the Serpent Mound. Archaeologists have debated the origins of the Serpent Mound for many decades. Despite excavations, there have been no artifacts or burials found that have been directly able to help to identify when or why it was built. There are currently 2 leading theories for who may have constructed the monument. Some posit that it could be the Adena culture, which dates from 800 BC to approximately 100 AD. Others believe that the Fort Ancient culture is more likely to be responsible, and this would make the structure much more recent, as this culture dates from 1000 to 1750 AD. This theory usually places the construction somewhere in the 11th century. With 2 competing theories offering dates a millennium apart, this is clear that there is much to learn about the structure. Why then the uncertainty, and why such widely different theories? The Adena culture is a well-established and ancient culture known to have flourished in the North American continent. William Webb, a noted researcher, found evidence of this culture in Kentucky from as early as 1200 BC. Comparing artifacts found in Kentucky with skeletal remains that had been found near the Serpent Mound led the research team to believe that it was constructed by the same culture, and it's known that the Adena spread as far as the Ohio Valley, and they're known to have constructed great mounds elsewhere, although nothing quite like the Serpent Mound. The 8-member team, led by archaeologist William Romaine, investigated charcoal samples from the serpent in areas which showed the least erosive damage. Their findings dated the construction to between 381 BC to 44 BC, a great fit for the Adena culture at their peak in this location. For the Fort Ancient culture, but the solution is not so cut and dried as it may seem. In opposition to this theory is that The Serpent Mound belongs to the Fort Ancient culture. In 1996, the team of Robert Fletcher and Terry Cameron reopened some of the trenches that had been created by investigators in the 19th century. They found charcoal in their excavations and then tested was dated to no earlier than 1070 AD. This would therefore seem to suggest that the Fort Ancient culture, who inhabited the Ohio Valley at this time, had built the mound perhaps over earlier smaller mounds constructed by the Adena. But this itself is problematic. The mound is uncharacteristic for the people of the Fort Ancient peoples. It contains no identifiable artifacts, and there are no noticeable burials found near the effigy, which is unusual for the culture of these people. One piece of the evidence that does bolster the case for them being the builders of the mound is the alligator effigy mound in nearby Granville, another effigy in Ohio, with some similarities which dates to this culture and the time period. Yet other researchers, looking to unite the two competing theories, suggest that both could be true. Perhaps the Adena built the original Serpent Mound, and then 1,000 years later the Fort Ancient culture repaired sections of it which had become damaged over time, adopting the ancient structure for their own use. But what was this structure used for? Based on research conducted in 1987, it was proposed that the oval and head area of the serpent aligned with the sunset on the summer solstice, and this would provide an unexpected supporting evidence for the Fort Ancient theory, as it should be noted that if it was built in 1070 AD, then two key astronomical events may have influenced its location and building. The first was a supernova in 1054 AD, well documented in contemporaneous texts from other cultures across the world and created today's Crab Nebula. The second was Halley's Comet, which appeared in 1066 AD. The mound is also located at the site of an astrobleme, the site of an impact caused by a meteorite striking the Earth. This was identified by looking at the sedimentary stratigraphy, which shows a significant disruption of the deposit layers, which could only have been caused such an impact. This was corroborated by Ohio State University, University of Glasgow. It may have been that the Fort Ancient culture, observing both the bright phenomena in the sky and the impact location, may have associated the two and built the effigy in recognition of this visitor from the heavens. And due to the location and the zoomorphic qualities of the mound, astrological associations have been strikingly linked with this purpose, as well as the head aligning to the summer solstice. The tail of the serpent points to the winter solstice sunrise at the other end of the annual cycle. This suggests that it may have been used to make time or the changing of the seasons. This method may have given the local people advice on when to plant or harvest crops. Additionally, the curves in the body of the serpent have been identified to parallel lunar phases or alternatively align with the two solstices and two equinoxes, although they are so vague in the modern landscapes that a true understanding of their meaning may always remain elusive. The Serpent Mound. Absent theory, revelatory discovery or breakthrough in understanding, the debate for who made the Serpent Mound and what exactly was used for will likely continue forever. There will be no certainty about whether the mound was used for astrological patterns, supernatural worship, or to document a celestial event. Regardless, the mound endures in the landscape impressive and ancient. The amount of effort required to build on such a scale is a testament to its importance to the local culture of the area. It is truly a magnificent site. And this is by Kurt Redman on Historic Mysteries. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.